Can you tell us a little bit about why you were speaking at the Countess event today?
Well, they wanted to know what my role would be if indeed I'm elected to the European Parliament. And I've had a long conversation with people who are working there currently over the European Parliament at the moment. Specifically, there isn't any legislation really or directives coming from Europe in relation to education or gender ideology. But what can happen is European parliamentarians can get amendments made to current legislation or current directives that are going through. It could be about anything at all. To change the gender language, for example, if it's something that specifically applies to women, there might be a paragraph or a subsection where a parliamentarian who might have a certain ideology wants that changed to, or men who identify as women. I would object to that, of course, because if that legislation, I believe, is specifically for women, it should be just for women, because I believe women's spaces should be protected. If you do want legislation for men, well, then indeed we should have the same legislation or directives for men. So I will make sure that those kind of amendments, in my role, I would not be voting for amendments like that.
And just bringing it back to your role as a journalist, you obviously speak to people from all walks of life on a very regular basis. Do you think that there's an appetite for change to things like the Gender Recognition Act in Irish law?
I think so. I think we are turning a corner. I do believe the gender recognition bill in this country was kind of rushed in to appease NGOs at that particular time. I don't think we fully thought about it and the ramifications for it. For example, we spoke during the year about women, or I should say trans women in men's or in women's business, so I get confused. Which is, a very dangerous situation. If you're with somebody who's maybe a violent person or has been a rapist and then suddenly identifies as a woman and is put in a prison with other women, that's a very dangerous situation. And that's up to the Irish Penal Service, of course, to monitor that as well. But the idea that somebody can just identify as a woman, to me, doesn't seem right. Look, I have respect for all human beings. If you want to identify as whatever you want to identify, do that. But don't demand that I do it for you as well. For example, I've always given a bit of an analogy. I consider myself an atheist, but I'm the most religious atheist you'll ever meet. I feel I'm very Christian, I've got Christian values, but I am an atheist, I don't believe in God. If you believe in God, or the God you believe in, I respect your God. I respect your belief in a God. But I would be horrified if you demanded I believed in your God. The same way as I'm horrified that people would demand that I use a certain pronoun for them, whatever it happens to be. I'm genuinely respectful of people, but don't demand that I do something that I don't believe in.